Welcome back to the finals of GP Florence. Insert epic background music here. And we have two black-red decks going against each other.
We have Gynoidpoet, who is on mostly red burn, a little bit of black for Bloodvenge Berserker, but mostly red, and Wizzerinus is on a sort of like a mid-range list, using Tyrant's Breath with Pilot Pools to kill the opponent's stuff, and Hatsu's maneuver to make a bunch of tokens.
Yep, and we see Hatsu's maneuver in the opening hand. Probably one of the best cards against Gynoidpoet because it kills something and makes a 1/1, which can chump.
Yep.
So Gynoidpoet keeps a 1-lander, but it has a bunch of cards that do stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're probably looking to draw some more lands, but if they draw spells, I don't think they're too sad because it's a burn deck. Meanwhile, Wizzerinus, they bombed the Prime Inquiry. I guess they assume it's too slow.
Yeah, I mean, burn doesn't care too much about like individual cards. And it's also pretty slow, 2 mana. Get something. It's not the best.
Yeah.
Poet gonna torrent.
I'm assuming it's going to be the turn 1 Banish Companion. And Hatsu's maneuver does not one-shot the Banish Companion.
That is true. Sophia is gonna be good here. It's out of burn range because it's a 3/4 and it will easily kill anything that Poet has. So.
Wait, Wizzerinus is going to play Shardstone Rift. Yeah, so nothing to do on turn 1.
There's nothing that Hitsuo's maneuver can kill. You need to deal with instant speed. Suitor is only being Poet's upkeep, and Axeslinger will usually be a 3/3.
Especially with Crumbling Precipice, the Gynoidpoet doesn't have a second fetch land. They can still get the 3/3 Caulte going.
Yeah.
And Wizzerinus is going to be losing some life from their lands because Sunwash Spires does ping them. Actually, Wizzerinus doesn't have very good land plays because either they play Sunwash Spires and ping themselves for 1 over a few turns, or they play Shardstone Rift untapped, which hits them for 2.
Yeah, taking damage here is definitely rough.
I mean, I'm assuming the plan here is to drop Sophia turn 2. Gynoidpoet probably is going to use some burn spells on Sophia.
Poet has to draw a land to kill Sophia, which is what's really nice about it. Well, either that or hold up the burn spells for after combat, get Wizzerinus to block.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's what's going to happen. Wizzerinus draws another Pilot Pool, so not the land they want to draw. Pilot Pool's being really awkward here because it doesn't tap for colored mana when you have nothing on board.
Yeah, makes it rough.
Hatsu's maneuver on Caulte actually, yeah, that's fine.
That's also pretty reasonable.
It saves them some life from having to play the land untapped and chumps the Banish Companion for a turn.
And then you go Sophia, then Lucian will maybe let you stabilize with that lifelink.
Oof, no land.
Find greater purpose here, rough. Not land.
Gynoidpoet just attacks here, I think, and then plays Suitor. That said, though, Gynoidpoet is going pretty low because Crumbling Precipice is also hurting them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's Suitor of the Sea. Wizzerinus is going to fetch during their upkeep just to make sure that they don't accidentally draw into a swamp or something, because I'm assuming they're fetching swamp here.
Yeah.
Or Lavatorn Fields. Yeah, that also works. Ooh, Profane Emissary, with Pilot Pools in hand. Okay, yeah, I think Wizzerinus has the game in the bag now.
Yeah. Then you also get Lucian and Sophia, so you have a lot of blockers. Not getting a second land really hurt Poet there.
Yeah.
Getting stuck on one.
If Poet draws a second land, they can
draw a second land. They actually have the game, maybe.
Do they?
Because they have 12 points of burn in their hand.
But Profane Emissary has lifelink. Yeah.
Yeah. Emissary makes things difficult.
If Gynoidpoet top second land, I think they're kind of obligated to just point all the burn at Profane Emissary and attack.
Yeah. So I'm gonna Emissary pools.
So does Gynoidpoet get the land they need? Oh, they're first going to take the ping from the Suitor. Oh.
No, it does not.
Okay.
Takes on the creature, which is weak here.
Yeah, I think the game's kind of over. They're going to attack with both, which will allow the burn spell to take out Profane Emissary, but that's going to be followed by Illusion. So, yeah.
Decides to block, which...
I mean, yeah, it makes perfect sense. It gains you some life. Even if it gets killed, then it ate a burn spell. So it basically gains you 7 life in total. And also killed something. So, yeah, that's an extremely good trade. Wizzerinus draws more lands.
Of note is that Lucian will die to Companion and a burn spell.
I mean, you can just minus Solution on the Companion.
Decides to go Sophia here.
It makes sense. It's a blocker. Oh, they're going to attack with Sophia. Oh, right. Gynoidpoet's down to 2 lives, so they can actually cast spells now. Or they can only cast 1 more spell before they die.
Also, if this is a burn spell, Wizzerinus will just win. This is very good.
And Banished Companion can't attack either.
I mean, it can attack just fine, but
Yeah. Gynoidpoet can't just suicide themselves with Banished Companion. That's a good way to concede.
yeah. And then Sophia goes exile.
It's a land.
Based
Man,
on cards Torrent, unfortunately, but
just play it anyway so that Gynoidpoet knows what they could have drawn. That was the land they were looking for all along.
yeah, that's
No, you're not even going to BM.
what a twist of fate. Finally is gonna draw the land and it gets Sophia'd. And it's not a land.
Okay, Gynoidpoet, concede with honor. Come on, suicide by attacking with Banished Companion.
As we all know, when you're in the finals of a GP, the most important thing to do is to die to your own cards.
Yeah. How can you display your mastery over your cards if you can't kill yourself with them?
Looking at the boards here, Wizzerinus probably sides in Rift Splicing, takes care of most threats. Also, Chaldrayan's Rage, probably. If you survive to turn 4, there's board gone.
Do they board in Infectious Ego? Is that too slow, or do they board it in anyways because it wins on 4?
I mean, the ETB is very rarely going to trigger, because, like, you saw that game, Poet had all of, like, what, 1 land and 2 creatures?
That's because they got unlucky.
That's fair. Going to game 2 here.
Yeah, but on Gynoidpoet's side, I think they're probably going to board in Cursive Bleeding.
And it's 2 Cursive Bleedings in the opepener there.
Well, they're keeping
I don't really think
right?
Anything else? Yeah, he keeps that. Wizzerinus has gotten... You have to go down to 5.
Oh.
2 1-landers in a row.
Oof. Okay, and unfortunately not the right math for Chaldrayan's Rage, but they're going to have to keep anyways and hope to get there.
Has turn 1 Axeslinger for 3.
Yep, classic burn start.
Classic burn start, indeed.
Axeslinger for 3. So Wizzerinus needs to top deck a red land here, right? Valdez, okay, that's decent. You Valdez low, right? To hit any other 1-drops your opponent might have. They're going to Valdez high.
I mean, I guess that makes sense. It's probably going to hit, like, Cursive Bleeding.
Right.
Unfortunately, they had Searing, but if it hits Cursive Bleeding, you're really happy because that ruins your anti-burn plan. Now, having 2 Cursive Bleedings, not as much you can do about that. Also, being in Rakdos just can't do much about.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Gynoidpoet can just attack with Axeslinger again.
I'd say just go Companion and Suitor and...
Well, if they attack with Companion, they can't activate Axeslinger.
Ah, that's true.
Or actually, though, they could have if they sequenced better. Like if they went Crumbling Precipice, cast Banished Companion, and then swing with both, and then fetch and then play Suitor afterwards. It seems like they messed up the sequencing, so they're not going to be able to do that.
Sad.
Seems like they're just going to play Cursive Bleeding right now. Because they figured since they screwed up the sequencing anyways, they might as well just play Cursive Bleeding. Because that spends all their mana and also activates Axeslinger. But I feel like getting down Cursive Bleeding turn 2 isn't really necessary because Wizzerinus doesn't have any way to gain life until like turn 3.
Poet doesn't know that. They could easily have a... If they like played Emissary there...
Emissary doesn't attack right away, so you have a turn to play Cursive Bleeding before it can start gaining life.
Oh, that's fair, but...
Yeah.
I mean, I guess once you've... Like, if you realize, oh, I want to get Axeslinger off here...
Probably won't matter in the grand scheme of things because Gynoidpoet still has a super big lead, and Wizzerinus is stuck with useless cards in hand.
Yep. Even if you get a red, you're not gonna... Can't really do anything good with it.
You can Chaldrayan's Rage on your turn to wipe the board, most likely. And Tyrant's Breath, if you manage to get polyp pools... Or no, it doesn't help because you need red sources, so...
Yeah.
Yeah. Ooh, there's their third land.
It is rough because it's pain land, so you'd have to...
Well, the play here is...
You go Precipice into Companion.
Yep, and then swing.
Swing.
Get Axeslinger activated, and then play Suitor afterwards.
Yep. Life Total is a resource.
Yeah, especially with these sorts of burn decks where you're burning yourself as much as you're burning the opponent.
That's true. Poet is in a rather commanding position with 1 whole extra life. Interface error. Tis the Rosy Cockatrice.
Oh.
Misclicks and such. Probably gonna be a short judge call.
Yep, judge call time. Alright, seems like a judge call has been resolved. But anyways, Gynoidpoet's down to 11, Wizzerinus is down to 7.
Down to 7 means Wizzerinus is dead next turn.
Yep.
Could be Suitor. Gonna be down to 6. See the draw. If it's a red. Nope. It's a red card, not a red land. Just gonna concede there.
Yep, so we're going to game 3. But Gynoidpoet now has to win the game on the draw, which is a lot harder as a burn deck.
That's true.
So losing game 1 is really bad for them because they basically miss an opportunity to win on the play. Game 3 is starting already, so the finals will be pretty short, which is a good thing for me, at least.
Alright, Wizzerinus gets a hand here. Not great. Poet,
One
4
score.
lands is a lot, but also you have Axeslinger. Yeah, that's probably keepable.
Yeah.
Axeslinger.
It's not. It's 3 lands.
no, actually,
Storm Surge is not a land.
I keep thinking it's a land
Yeah,
because it's
I
not.
blame you. This looks more like a full art
They
land
didn't
art.
put words on the card. What am I supposed to do?
Yeah.
Alright, that's pretty keepable for Wizzerinus.
Oh, yeah, they have... Isn't this their hand from game 1?
Pretty similar, yeah.
Except this time they're on the play. And they're
This
going to be
turn
able to land Hatcho's Maneuver against the Caulte Axeslinger.
There's actually not any time where it's a 1-1, because by the time it goes on the stack, Poet's already taken the 3 damage, so...
Oh no, during...
doesn't matter.
Wizards can maneuver on during their turn when it's a 1-1. Well, actually, now I think about it, maybe Gynoidpoet should have played out Bloodvenge Berserker first because it doesn't die to Hatcho's Maneuver.
Gets the 4th land for Lucian, which is very strong.
I mean, I'm assuming Hatcho's Maneuver is coming out here. Yeah, that's why I said maybe Bloodvenge Berserker is better as a turn on play because it doesn't tie to Hatcho's Maneuver. So attack with Bloodvenge, and then next turn use Storm Surge plus Caulte and tap Bloodvenge, swing with everything.
No, Wizzerinus is going to Sophia and pass here, which is also a fine play.
Oh, but Shock Charm will be able to kill Sophia if it blocks. I don't think Gynoidpoet wants to burn 2 removal spells on Sophia, so Heartstone Rift.
Yeah, I mean, losing... It's essentially... It is a 2-for-1, because you do have to... Like, best case scenario is 2 burn spells, since Axeslinger is going to do more damage more often, but...
Yeah, I think the play here is to help Bloodvenge Berserker and attack with it and see if your opponent blocks. I'm not sure if you also attack with Caulte. Like, you might just be alright attacking with just Bloodvenge, and if your opponent blocks, now you get to kill Sophia. If they don't block, you get damage through. Or you can attack with both. Because leaving Caulte actually in back just means that it dies to Hatcho's Maneuver without doing anything.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like they are planning on attacking with Caulte this turn. The annoying thing is that they can't orchestrate Storm Surge this turn if they want to go for that play, because they have to decide on Storm Surge targets before attacking if they want to Storm Surge it off Bloodvenge. So it's like they're just not going to kill Sophia. Oh,
no, I think they are going to kill Sophia.
They're going to burn 2 spells on Sophia. I guess it leaves Caulte Axeslinger alive.
Yeah.
And I guess Gynoidpoet just assumes Wizzerinus doesn't have Hatcho's Maneuver after it didn't kill Axeslinger on the first turn.
I don't know. It seems not great. Like, you have your 4 lands overall.
Yeah.
You need to draw into more gas to close the game out.
Emissary.
Not good mana for it, unfortunately.
There's Hatcho's Maneuver, and there goes Axeslinger.
Mm-hmm.
Now Gynoidpoet needs to draw real well now because Lucian's coming down next turn.
Yep. It's a Storm Surge.
Well, so I guess here Gynoidpoet just points everything at face. They play out Bloodvenge, they attack with it, and then after that they Storm Surge for Fire Burst.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's good. That's Wizzerinus' life in half.
They can chump with the Warrior. But that's only 6 damage.
At the same time, though, you're also using all the cards in your hand.
Yeah.
And your opponent's still going to be 2 or 3 bolts away from actually dying. It doesn't feel great.
I agree. They're not going to block. I guess they're holding the Warrior for something more threatening.
I think they maybe want to hold up for when Lucian comes down.
Right.
Like,
to protect Lucian.
Because a Berserker and a burn spell kills Lucian after a plus. So Wizzerinus might be like, because if it becomes a 3/3 and attacks, that's 3 life gain, which is an extra bolt that Poet has to get.
Here I'm assuming this Poet is just going to orchestrate Storm Surge and then hold up Fire Burst.
That's a good move. No, going to play both right now.
I don't think there's any point in not holding up Fire Burst though, because Wizzerinus has no way to interact with Fire Burst at instant speed, right?
No.
And you might as well not let Wizzerinus draw the card before they have a chance to play it.
Wizzerinus is good draw. Tyrant's Breath, it's a magic card. Duvitsu's Maneuver, but that's...
I mean, Tyrant's Breath just clears the board. That's good enough as is. Granted, Gynoidpoet actually does have a way to top deck out of this. They just need to find Greater Purpose and then flip into 2 burn spells. And that is something that can happen.
Alright, so imagine I go Polyp Pools.
Polyp Pools and then Lucian minus the Bloodvenge, and then that puts Wizzerinus out of range of 2 burn spells.
Yeah, which is especially important because your opponent has a card in hand. If that's a burn spell, then...
No, that means Gynoidpoet needs to flip into 3 burn spells, because if they don't deal with Lucian this turn, then Lucian starts attacking as a 3/3 lifelinker, and then I don't think Gynoidpoet can ever get enough damage to kill Wizzerinus.
Yeah, has a warrior, the draw from Poet,
Well,
Besat Charm, which is a spike, but
you need to hit Lucian with this or else you can't win.
yeah. And I imagine Wizzerinus probably goes Emissary and starts the beatdown.
Yeah.
If Emissary gets to stick around, then Wizzerinus makes a bunch of warriors off of Wrath in the games. Wizzerinus can draw another land, yeah. So Wizzerinus can make a bunch of tokens, and
they're just going to attack this turn first, I guess.
you really don't want to be playing the Rifts untapped. Puts you in 2 burn spell range.
Gynoidpoet can still find greater purpose into 3 burn spells, right? They just need to find greater purpose into find greater... Oh no, they literally can't win. There's nothing that they can top deck here that would be able to do 7 damage in total.
Just get good. Probably safe to just start swinging here. Commence the beatdown.
Yeah.
See the draw.
Searing Grace. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Yeah, they play a Magma Torn tap, and I guess they end up turning Searing Grace Wizzerinus' face. Because they actually do have a chance if Wizzerinus doesn't gain any life, or at least doesn't gain 3 life, because then they have a chance of flipping Find Greater Purpose plus 2 burn spells off the top.
Draws an Emissary, so...
Well, Emissary doesn't have haste, and the game's over anyways if the Gynoidpoet doesn't win this turn. And Wizzerinus swings in with both their creatures.
Takes it.
They're going to do a Tyrant's Breath thing.
Yep, Tyrant's Breath.
I mean, it doesn't really matter because Wizzerinus already has lethal on board even before doing this.
But this is super lethal.
Yeah, I guess.
Because it's not strictly lethal because Poet has Grace, so...
Right. All copies target token. Yeah, problem is that if the token dies, the further copies don't resolve, so you're only getting 10 tokens from this.
Just 10 tokens.
I mean, that's not really that impressive when you think about it. I mean, there are decks in the format that can make 40 1/1 birds on turn 4, or at least there used to be.
Yeah, if there was a deck like that in the format now, it's scary.
And honestly, I think Rejuvenation, or at least the new version without Realms Overturning, can still sort of do that, but they don't really need to play birds as a finisher.
Well, no way out of that for Poet, unfortunately. There's an opportunity to
die honorably.
There is, yeah, because you can Searing Grace face and then Banished Companion, take the rest of lethal damage.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to need a very last minute judge call.
That would be a fitting end to this GP, honestly. At least for our commentary purposes. Oh, God.
Imagine.
Oh, well, I mean, so you know how I mentioned during that round 1 2-hour game that getting 3 game rule violations for the opponent was a win condition?
That is a win con, indeed.
Good thing it didn't come up here.
I think there should be a new deck in the format focused on making your opponent misplay as much as possible in the hopes of winning by forcing.
I mean, didn't someone make a legacy deck that sort of did that? And they also played a bunch of foreign language cards in that deck, so, you know.
I don't know. I haven't heard the story, but...
It was a mono-white stompy deck with a bunch of cards that attack your opponent for different things so that your opponent will often just forget about the attacks and then stack up game violations that way.
And Wizzerinus, with that, has won the finals of GP Florence.
Yep. They even managed to pull off the combo in the last game.
Mission Impossible has been achieved.
A winner is here in the booth.
Oh, well, I was about to ask for a post-game interview, but I guess I don't even have to ask.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, one thing I should say is I played tested this matchup yesterday a bit, and I found out I literally cannot beat Burn in game 1. Like, it's sub 5%. It's impossible.
Well...
So I was like, okay, so to win, I need to have the emissary combo in the opener, like emissary plus pulse.
Right.
Before so, like, looking at pretty decent 7. But turns out, Sophia is also pretty good against Burn.
Yeah, like, that's something that Permasaki did mention during the set review. Like, Sophia is just good against Burn because it blocks really well.
Yeah, just having a 4 toughness creature which kills Caulte Axeslinger is kind of good.
Yeah.
X4s are powerful against Burn.
Hello.
Yep.
Party in the booth.
So...
Got punished a bit for keeping a 1-lander game 1, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, game 1 and game 2 are mostly non-games. One side just got nothing and the other side steamrolled them. But game 3 was a pretty proper game, I think.
It was a good ending game to a GP.
Oh, I'm glad you just thought so.
Yeah, honestly, one funny thing is if I had 2 GRVs, I would lose, and in this position, it would be pretty funny. because I forgot to put a potion into my graveyard.
Has there ever been a GP finals that ended with a third game rule violation?
I think there was.
Statistically speaking, there's been tons of GPs. So
Well, I know a semifinals match that ended in a game rule violation. Well, it was
I won with GRBs like a few months ago.
Oh.
Yeah, I know there was a semi-final, but
I was even commentating that.
it was kind of funny because would have kind of been mean of me, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
And it would have felt very good.
anything to win.
I mean, yeah, it would have technically been the correct thing to do. So that's still actually this part. Good thing he don't have to. But I think probably the biggest sort of thing in Wizzerinus deck is just like good for toughness creatures.
Yeah.
Because it's
Actually, not
well,
really
like
that good because I need a land in play, right?
Well,
But it's still okay.
yeah. And
Emissary is good. Profane Emissary.
and Sophia, yeah. So
Yeah, the thing is like, oh yeah, one thing is I think that one lander keep was probably correct for you in game one,
I think it is
even if
too.
it didn't work out. Yeah, just because I actually cannot be burning game one, almost never.
If you drew a second land early on,
Yeah.
you probably had the game.
Yeah, it's not even early on.
yeah,
Even if you drew the second land when I had the MS play, it still was pretty likely that you win.
that's just variance, really.
Yeah, very nice.
What I'm thinking if it was my decision, I had to go for 2-for-1 in myself to kill Sophia because my thought process was like this card is gonna end up 2-for-1 in myself one way or the other. I need to at least do the 2-for-1 that ends with me still having Caulte Axeslinger.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, actually, so there was something that I mentioned. In game 3, you could have played Bloodvenge Berserker on turn 1 instead of called Axeslinger, which played around Hatch's Swimmer better. I'm not sure if it actually mattered in that game because Sophia was the most important card instead
Oh
of
yeah,
Hatchels, but
I guess I didn't see it that way. I guess I don't know. It's kind of hard to argue with the prospect of doing 3 damage turn 1.
yeah.
And also having a creature. Like even when you consider that they end up spending a card to kill it, it's but yeah, Hatsu's maneuver being very good against Caulte Axeslinger definitely mattered in this game.
Yeah.
I will continue to persist until eventually I get to the finals of a GP and not get beaten by a good player on a mid-range deck. Because last time I got to the finals of the GP on Burn, I got beaten by Dodger on Holcomb.
Yeah, I mean, Burn's very good at getting into the top 8, but they're a lot less good at just securing the win after that.
Exactly, mainly because, especially when facing decks like sort of mid-range that kind of are able to hedge, sort of find answers, sort of position themselves in a way to just sort of stop, burn, and then win.
Yeah. Well, any words of wisdom from the champion?
I don't know. 2 drops good.
Yeah.
Wiz, do you wanna champion called Axeslinger instead?
Yeah, Axeslinger is actually an insane card. I mean, I didn't think of it that way before, but now I actually see Axeslinger being played against me. And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
It really changes your perspective.
Like, it's just better than Goblin Guide.
It's a sulfuric vortex on steroids.
Yeah,
I think my
the one
favorite-
thing is that in game 1, you killed yourself, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
The Manish
and
companion
Axeslinger does-
showing its downside.
Yeah, the Axeslinger does actually make you kill yourself fairly often, but it's still a pretty insane card.
Indeed. In the semifinals, there were a lot of funny Caulte Axeslinger moments. Mainly that the moment where I kind of was waiting for Espithel to also lose 2 more points of life because he hadn't realized that Caulte Axeslinger actually counted my own life loss.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I saw your discussion about how Harm's Way prevent the damage a champion does to yourself.
Yeah, and then we realized that doesn't work.
I genuinely was scared that I didn't realize at first that you couldn't do that, and thought, oh no, Espithel could actually have won. What if I actually let Espithel think himself into losing? But yeah. I will continue to push Caulte Axeslinger, and my goal will be to try and champion it before it gets nerfed.
Yeah.
Well, good luck.
I mean, I guess this win does prove that Burn is beatable, if only by but by more well-rounded decks. Kind of trounces more linear decks often.
Tis Burn.
Yep.
Oh yeah, also, isn't this like the first time in like half a year the winner isn't purple Murasaki's deck?
Well, no, it already stopped happening when someone else won with mono red burn against Purposaki on Storm in the finals.
Was that Infinity Shop? I
Yeah,
think?
it
Was on burn and
the mono red version. No Caulte, no Hugo. Just classic burn. No finagling.
Not really convinced on Hugo.
purple.
I only have Hugo because I literally purposefully just did all 1-drops without intending to do Hugo, just because I wanted to do all 1-drops, and
Yeah.
better to have it than not to have it. I never actually got a 4-land hand where he would have helped in the whole GP.
What matchup is Hugo even good in? When I tested it against me, I just never brought it in because it's like a 2-mana 2/2 without haste when you can play 1-mana 3/3 with haste.
Exactly, and
Yeah.
I think the reasoning behind Hugo was like, oh yeah, it's inevitable. It gets big, it gets big and stuff. But like burn itself, it's already inevitable. Is the thing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, Hugo honestly seems like a little bit slow because like it's a
I don't
2-mana
think
1 that
Hugo
comes
is
down.
like playable after the nerf.
Yeah, I think people are...
Do you think it's just like attack for 5 and turn 3?
Oh, anyway,
Fair
speaking of
warning, if
nerf
you are-
cards like Hugo, what's the name? Race.
Creature Vomit did not win the GP as much as I wished it would, with 4 people all trying to spike the GP with it. But I think the deck lost to itself more often than it lost to the opponent, like with 2 mirror matches.
If only we have had a hardened scales level player
Yeah.
to actually pilot the deck properly and take it to the end.
I mean, I think I was sort of decent at playing the deck. I think Gala was also sort of decent, but like Gala tilted out during the last game, and then I got the mirror match, and I got a bad draw against Casino Scam in game 2.
Yeah, Gallo definitely kind of tilted. Like, I just played
so-
Hetz's maneuver and he conceded or something.
With the new like nerfs to the deck, which is Daisy and Ray's reinforcements, is there still a deck there? Is the main core wasn't really hit, but it lost a lot of its resiliency. And
There's a chance that a bunch of cards that are still played in the deck might continue to see play. So I don't think it's been officially announced, but like the actual change has been officially announced. But I hear there's also a quest remake in the world, so
Yeah,
I'll have to see how that affects the ubiquitous in white decks. Seek the Lost Child.
If Critic's Companion and Seek Lost Child get nerfed, I don't think that there is a deck anymore, because that's probably...
honestly,
Critic
the
is-
card
I think
really should talk about.
my guess is that there could be some sort of other creature spam deck, but it would have to end up looking differently. It wouldn't be abusing the cards it's currently able to abuse anymore.
Maybe there'll still be a Mozikev plus token spam deck, but definitely will be a lot less abusive.
I mean, Gilo
For
is
example,
Gilo out of
think-
nowhere is still going to be a really good thing. I don't see Gilo getting nerfed at all.
Yeah.
And so there'll still be a creature spam deck, probably so long
Gilo
as
is
you
interesting.
it's like so long as you can make a lot of creatures and then like get Gilo out of like EHS or Theocracy. There's still gonna be a deck like a green-white aggressive creature spamming deck. Probably not the same deck if you cut Companion and Seek and Raise and Daisy, but so long.
It's interesting actually because like I remember I joined the format around the time where Elmare and Shiren first came out and Gilo first came out, and you would often see Gilo deck at least once per GP, or a deck sort of abusing a bunch of Elmare and these creatures in Gilo. And I think people just sort of started forgetting about those decks a little bit as new things came around, but the sort of general strategy of creature spam plus Gilo is probably still viable in general.
Yeah.
Can we discuss how Chigau the red market is in banned?
Oh yeah, they're gonna ban. I wonder if next GP is gonna be Chigau, the GP Chigau.
I doubt it, but maybe Purposaki brewed up some broken deck for me to try to spike the GP with.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's the Murasaki broken brew with Chigau.
I might. Half of me wants to make top 8 again with Flyers, and the other half of me wants to actually like do good. So like I'm torn.
Yeah, just play your pet deck.
Did Chigau's getting changed?
No.
Nope, Chigau's not getting changed. I think they just realized that the broken things it does are probably in line with the broken things going on the format at the moment.
Yeah.
Next month we'll also have the submissions to talk about.
Right.
There's a new submission period coming around.
There's also Aether League, which
I think Aether League is pretty bad now.
Oh yeah, Aether Leak.
Like,
Well,
I don't
Aether
really
Leak.
think people.
Yeah.
Well, Aether Leak it's a different card. If it's good, it'll be in a different deck. It's like
actually, a pretty big difference is Bant command becoming targeting. It'll be way better once all of its
Yeah.
modes target, because now
I mean, it's kind of
gonna
like a
be-
bug. It's kind of like a bug, but yeah, it's a pretty important
Yeah.
piece.
Yeah, that's
the great command update probably be good in general, isn't it? I mean, I don't think
Yeah.
bad command is probably still going to be as good as it is, just sort of inherently safer.
just less feels bad from I try and bounce something and make myself
Prove
life
you,
instead I
yeah.
get nothing.
So I guess that wraps up GP Florence, doesn't it? The GP Creature Vomit with no Creature Vomit in top GP.
Yeah.
Once again, a burn deck forced to mid-range, Wizzerinus mid-range BR triumphs over a BR deck.
Yeah.
No kidding, we're going this time just Tyrant's Breath.